Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. You know, every now and then I like to feature a game from somebody who's not a super unicum, doing impossible things in top tier mediums, and instead is just an average player, doing the best that they can, and having a great time doing it. This is Master Tanker in the Russian Tier 8 heavy tank, the IS-3. Good tank. Possibly it's suffered from a little bit of power creep over the years, but it's still a good tank. Master Tanker is very definitely an average player. He's played just slightly more than 3,000 battles, and he has an overall win rating of 47.9%, which is technically below average. But the important thing is he's getting better. If you look at the last 1,600 games he's played, he's managed to drag his win rating up to just short of 50%. Which is entirely average. And there's nothing wrong with a 50% win rating. Most people have a 50% win rating. That's why they call it average. And as an average player, you should expect to see him make average player mistakes. But, well, he's in an IS-3. It's a Russian heavy tank. They're very forgiving of the occasional mistake. Often people ask the question, I'm new to World of Tanks, what line of tanks should I start grinding down? And I usually recommend the Russian heavies because they are forgiving of making mistakes. They've got a lot of health, they've got a lot of armour, they've got big guns that do a lot of damage in one go. They allow you to make the occasional mistake and still live long enough to actually learn something from it, if you're paying attention. Master Tanker's first move is to occupy this position in the plaza to the northeastern side of the town in the middle of the map here on Erlenberg. And I like this position because it allows you to get hulled down, and the woods up there are usually infested with enemy tank destroyers. Hey! Derpenberg just claimed its first victim. The enemy Su-122-44 has just managed to drown himself in the river. Hang on, what? Wait, Master Tanker? No. Stop that right now, I'm taking control of the camera. If there's one almost 100% guaranteed way of making me immediately quit watching your replay, start doing shit like that with the camera. And I know I'm not the only person who feels that way. Master Tanker, have you calmed down? We'll give him control of the camera back. Okay, good. He's calmed down. Oh, I'm not too sure about that move. Then again, if there had been any tank destroyers in the woods to the north, they would have taken shots at him by now and nothing happened, so yeah. He was thinking about going over the rubble in order to get around the enemy tanks in the centre there. I don't know why he decided not to do that, possibly because there isn't actually a way over the river there. I'm just glad that he decided not to do that. Ooh, enemy IS-3, snapshot on the move, nothing. Enemy IS-3, shot goes into the masonry of the bridge, so we're 0 for 0 here. Now he is going to reload before the enemy IS-3, but, well, he's now been joined by a Sherman Jumbo, who is firing high explosive and has blown his tracks off. As has the IS-3, and knowing that the IS-3 has just fired, he uses the repair kit, pops out, takes the shots. Unfortunately, this is where he starts getting farmed. Not just by the Sherman Jumbo, who took the opportunity to do a reasonable amount of damage to him, but also the enemy artillery, who were zeroed in on his position and are lobbing premium high explosive at him. Matters are not helped by the Jumbo, who keeps plinking away at him and continuing to damage his tracks every time his gun's reloading. That's keeping him pinned here in this position, and artillery are reloading as well. And yep, there it is. More gold high explosive from the M12. It's not all terrible news, however, because while he is pinned in this position and getting farmed with high explosive from everybody but the IS-3, he was angled very nicely against the IS-3. And yep, in case you missed it, he's taking flanking fire as well. So now he's in a pretty pickle, and the artillery is continuing to harass him. There go his tracks again. His toolkit is still on cooldown. He's managed to angle against anybody shooting through that gap, however. And with his tracks back up, he's decided to take matters into his own hands, and I like this move. I mean, we're pretty sure there are no tank destroyers in the woods to the north. This keeps him safe from the artillery and any flanking fire. And the Sherman Jumbo really should have taken that opportunity to get out of there. That just leaves the IS-3. Now, he needs to be careful here, because if he comes around the corner, ooh, well, the IS-3 could have penned him if he'd been in position and ready to take the shot through the front idler wheel. And yeah, that was never going to penetrate. Even if it had hit, it would have just bounced clean off the side of the KV-3's turret. And then, yeah, there's artillery on both sides of the river. Oh, hang on, that's not artillery, that's some kind of special premium M4 Sherman. And that was a good hit, but tempting though it may be to stay and finish the job, well, he's gone undetected, so it's irrelevant anyway. And of course, in that position, the M44 can continue to hit him, and the M44 reloads very quickly for artillery. His attention is momentarily distracted by one of them pesky armoured cars, but well, that was never going to hit. And in any case, he's got slightly more pressing problems thinking about coming around the corner next to him. The KV-3, I have no idea why, hesitates and misses the opportunity to get a shot into his side armour while he was turning himself around. Bit of an average player error here from Master Tanker, and it could have cost him dearly, because he came around the corner to challenge the KV-3 when he didn't really need to, and that left him open to a shot from the IS-3, who luckily had loaded the high explosive. Was good to see, however, that when he was looking for the kill shot on the KV-3, and don't even attempt to shoot at one of those things, you know it's never going to happen, and even if it does, all you're going to do is blow one of its wheels off and slow it down a little. But when he was looking for the kill shot on the KV-3, he was aiming for the turret ring, so it's good to see that he knows where to shoot. I mean, he started this game with 5 rounds of gold ammo, and he's still got 5 rounds of gold ammo. He's never needed to use any of it. And he doesn't get panicked easily into rushing and making mistakes. I mean, he's made some mistakes, but it wasn't because he was panicking. Thinking about taking the fight to the enemy IS-3, checking behind him first, and this could be very dangerous because he's on low enough health, but if that IS-3 puts a shot into his lower glacis, he'd have been dead. But he didn't put a shot into his lower glacis. And the enemy IS-3 is also not even attempting to angle his armour against him. That shot went into the engine, which means it should have taken him 2 shots to finish off the enemy heavy. But that shot into the engine, and the resulting engine fire, meant that it only ended up taking 1. He's still a one-shot kill for a lot of the surviving enemy vehicles, so he's going to need to be careful. Looks like he's trying to work his way around, or would have been trying to work his way around and take out the Rheinmetall Borsig, and that is never going to penetrate, even if it had hit. The top of the Emil's turret is so heavily sloped that even if he'd hit him, that would have just ricocheted clean off. The 2 friendlies that went after the Rheinmetall Borsig have both met a sticky end, which means it's all down to Master Tanker. Now, while this is a good position from which to fight a Rheinmetall Borsig, the Borsig, who probably doesn't realise it, is entirely capable of killing an IS-3 even though he's fully hulled down firing through this gap in the rock. Because, and I apologise in advance to all the IS-3 drivers out there for giving away their trade secrets, but that metal plate sitting over the top of the gun mantlet is only 20mm thick. Which means a Borsig, which is either going to have a 128 or a 150mm gun, is entirely capable of completely overmatching it and penetrating it regardless of angle. But the Borsig doesn't appear to know that. Not judging the Borsig player here, a lot of players don't know that, but, well, for future reference, the IS-3, even when hulled down, isn't quite as impenetrable as a lot of IS-3 players would like to think. Hello. Okay, the Borsig's playing hard to get. Well, I have to admit, I was concentrating on the Borsig and did not realise that the Emil was behind Master Tanker. Luckily, he was suffering from less tunnel vision than me and was aware of it. And as for whether or not the Borsig was aware of the vulnerability of that 20mm armour plate on the top of the IS-3's turret, I guess we'll never know. And while this game is far from in the bag, they do appear to have the enemy team pretty firmly on the back foot now. Just the one enemy Su-100 still holding out up to the northeast, although he may be able to dispose of the friendly Su-100, who's on very low health, before the rest of the team up to the northeast take care of him. And this should have resulted in the dead Barask. That was a suicidal move. Crossed the road, got spotted, stopped, reversed, while spotted, then poked out sideways on with less than 300 health remaining in front of the IS-3 who spotted him, and somehow took a hit from this gun and didn't die. That's just some of the bullshit that we've come to expect over the years from World of Tanks. Although, arguably, it's worse when you do the same thing to an armoured car and a 122mm armour piercing shell is absorbed by a rubber tyre. So, just 2 enemies left. Both of them artillery. There's the M12, there's the AMX. Revenge is a dish best served cold. There goes the M12. Is the AMX going to make a fight of it? Well, you could be forgiven for thinking that he was, because he did take the shot, but then he immediately tried to suicide. Because, well, scumbags are going to be scumbags. But Master Tanker manages to reload and scuppers his evil plan before he managed to see it through to fruition. And that is victory. Ace Tanker, Top Gun, High Caliber, Steel Wall, and Pascucci's medal for the extremely average but getting better every time he plays Tanker Master in the Soviet Tier 8 heavy tank, the IS-3. I suppose the only thing that really remains is for me to apologise to Tanker Master for calling him Master Tanker throughout most of this video. You see, while he's definitely getting better, I'm just as crap as I always was. But thank you very much for sending that one in. It was a pleasure to be able to share your best ever game in the IS-3. And I do hope you all enjoyed it, because that's it for today. Take care, stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch you next time.